Okay, I have a perspective I want to share with you about psychics. And I myself am psychic, but I've also been a professional psychic for 30 plus years. I've also trained thousands of psychics. I've staffed psychic hotlines. I've trained coaches. I've been in the space for a very long time. I've seen a lot of psychics. Okay. So I think one of the pieces most mainstream people do not know is that a vast majority of psychics, healers, therapists, coaches, you name it, have had some kind of trauma or abuse in their life. It's just it's just the nature of the beast. Why? Well, when we're having these experiences and feeling so powerless, there's a hypervigilance that kind of happens where when we're a child and we can't cope and we don't know how to sort what's happening, we reach, and a switch gets flipped, I believe, at some point in time early on that allows us to access that realm more easier than the average person who's not having to face survival, right? Um, Not that it's not available to everyone, and this isn't 100% true, but it's predominantly true. And then once the psychic gifts start happening, depending on the kind of situation you grow up on, then you have to start making sense of that. And often our caregivers know nothing. Every once in a while, you get generational psychics. That's not common. Or they don't know about it, or they haven't figured out how to integrate into society in such a way that feels good. Because being psychic is not at all the easiest thing to do. Um, but then what happens to a lot of us is because our parenting was often inadequate, we end up having to go through therapy or teachers or classes, all kinds of things to piece together. How do I grow myself up? How do I learn how to be in the world? How do I do that? And so we pick up a lot of tips and tricks and things that a lot of people don't have to go searching for because they had a family or people who taught them, who helped raise them up, right? So by the time someone typically starts using their gifts professionally or even recreationally, let's call it, they've probably learned a few things because they've had to. They've been out actively trying to piece together a life. And then when you start reading, it's just natural to want to give those tips and tricks to someone in the context of a psychic reading. I know a lot of people don't want coaching when they're in a psychic reading, but some people do, and that's up to the reader to know the difference. Um, but the other piece to this is um, a lot of readers then become focused on spiritual development because spiritual development is where we really get context about why something is happening. So the other question that begs an answer is, if there's a divine, if there's a God, if there's a universe, consciousness, then why are all these negative things happening to these people, right? Why is there so much abuse? Well, my theory about it is that we live in a very dark time on the planet. And the Earth is a mature soul planet. It's not an old soul planet. I mean, there's a lot of ego going on here, and people are cruel to be cruel. I mean, people just like to be mean. It's crazy. It's like, okay, well, that's a thing. And I think consciousness at large, energetically speaking, just wants to push out as many light workers as possible. And you know, through the doorway of trauma and pain and suffering, a lot of psychics can be born. What can I say? Again, not everybody, but a large majority of them. And I've known some of the best psychics on the planet. I've learned from some of the most famous psychics you could ever want to know, and they too had this experience. But it's kind of like, a diamond that starts as coal and then turns to this sparkly, beautiful thing. I think that's what I like people to think about psychics. Most of us, we're out here to do good for folks. There's some who aren't, but most are. And a lot of people do a really great job. We're not perfect. We're human, just like everybody else. We're managing intangible realities while we're managing tangible realities. It's a thing, man. Anyhow, I just wanted to share this about psychics. Wasn't sure if you ever heard about this before, and I'm curious what other practitioners have to say about it. All right, hope you find this helpful.